Hi, second years. Right, this is what you should have imported. You should have a puzzle block, never mind about the B, and a solid bodies, and you'll need to save this file as something. Let's just save it as a puzzle block. And so we're going to see what happens when we try and dimension it. So I'm going to go to File, Make Drawing from Part. And here are hopefully file templates that you've loaded. I'm going to use the A3 one, which is what I asked you to use. Okay, and then I'm going to pull in just one view, the top view, like this. Click OK. Right, so this little origin point, you can make that hide by just clicking on this eye icon and clicking on that point, and it'll disappear. Okay, so I need this view, and I need one other view, and I'm going to need a section through this part here. So let's start with the section. Go to View Layout and Section View, and you'll notice that it places the section line across the whole item, and then on the left hand side you can decide whether you want to do a horizontal section or you want to do an auxiliary section, which we'll get to later. For now it's horizontal, so I'm just going to place it like that and then drag the section view out. And then let's have a look at this dialog box on the left hand side. If you want to, you can change the label to, let's say, to B, but we actually just want to keep it at A for now. And I don't want a full section. I only need this little bit here at the top. So I'm going to say in the third little partition here, I'm going to say partial section. And the second thing that I want is I don't want to see all these extra lines here. So I'm going to say that I want a section depth, and it gives me a section depth of 6.35. That's fine. You can put in another one. It just shows you on the drawing what the section depth is going to be. So in other words, if you're looking in that direction, it's only going to section to that point, or to this line, right? And then the other thing that I definitely want to do is I want to use a custom scale. So under scale, I'm going to say I want this to be scale of 2:1. Right, and you can see it's scaled it up way too large. Okay, and I can't move anything. And if I click this close dialog box, I should then be able to drag. If I grab the end of this, grab the end of my section line and let go, and then you will need to update using the rebuild command, and there we have it. You have a section view which at the moment is constrained to this view. If you want to move it around, you can just click on the view, right click, go to alignment and say break alignment, and once that's done you can now move this anywhere you want and just place it off to the side for now. Okay, and then I'm going to click OK. Right, so the dimensioning sequence should follow a pattern as with everything else, and the sequence is first put in your datums. Okay, so go up to annotation. You'll see in this over here under geometric tolerance, the second one here is called datum feature. That we're going to use the standard one that Solidworks gives us, which is this nice little arrow. Oops. Right, so the first datum is in fact the base of this item. Okay, so if I click on that point, I'm going to drag it out because it's clearer if I drag it out. And the second datum will be this left hand line, which I'm going to click on. I'm going to drag it down, and then the third one is this base here, which I'm going to drag and then just pop up like this. Okay, and I've pulled them away because I'm going to put dimensions in, and those are the three that I need. I always need three datums: a primary datum, that's A secondary datum, that's B, and a tertiary datum, that's C. There are other datums that you can use later on, but for now we're not going to worry about it. I see that something is missing from this view, which is the center lines. So let me just see if I can put them in. No, I can't. I have to go to annotation and I have to say center mark. And I can just click on this circular center mark and click on, let's see if this works. There you go, beautiful. Just click on these two circles. You're going to need those center lines, and in fact you want to join, I don't know if this is possible, you want to join this center line to that one, which you can. Okay, so now it's clear that that center line and that circle there, that sort of peg and that peg share the same center line. Right, the other thing I'm going to need is I want to dimension this angle, and I want to dimension that angle, and I want to dimension that angle, and that angle, and that radius, and that radius. But I've got nothing against which to dimension them because I've got these fillets in the way, and that's why I gave you this drawing full of fillets so that you could try and deal with this problem. So what we need now is a theoretical intersection between that line and that line. We're not going to worry about the top. We need an intersection between that line and that line, and then similarly on the section view. So what you do is you click on a line, hold the shift button down, click on another line, go to your sketch command and click on the point, and it should put in what's called a virtual sharp, right? If yours doesn't look like this, don't worry about it. If you've loaded my settings file, it should look like this, but it might show a little asterisk or something else. Okay, so let's do that again. Click, hold the shift button down, click on the point, and it inserts that line. Let's do this little baby here. Click. In fact, let's try control. That might also work. Yes, okay, so you can go click, you can hold control as well. So you've got two lines selected. Click on the point and it inserts. Okay, great. So now we've got a reference point which says that line and that line intersect at this point. So these lines here, which don't show you anything other than that there are tangents at those points, are now become irrelevant because I've got this little feature here from which I can do everything. Okay, so you've got your datums, you've got your center lines, and you've got your theoretical points of intersection or witness lines. The next step is to do your location or position dimension. So this is the steps. First datums, then your reference points that are not in, and then your position dimensions. You must do it in that sequence. Right, so I'm just going to dimension. Now we'll get into smart dimensioning and rapid dimensioning and dimension expert later. For now I'm just going to do it manually. So I'm going to start from the left hand side, and that's my first position dimension. There we go. The position between there and there is 60. I'm going to click on this line again. I'm going to say my second position is this center line, that vertical one, which is 77. And my third position is the end of that little cutout. Alright. And I'm not going to do the overall dimension here. I'm going to put the overall dimension at the top, just to give me more space to dimension at the bottom. So this is nice and out of the way. Okay, let's do the horizontal dimension. So I'm going to click on the base. You see there's your datum. So from here we need to the center of that circle. And we always dimension to the center of circles, not to any of the edges. And the same goes with radii if you need to, although in this case we're not going to need to. I'll explain that in a while. So now I've got the position of this this little pin, and it's related to the center because everything to do with a pin is circular. So you're going to be using circular tools to cut it. So you're going to need to know where the center point is. So let's just do the start of this baby here. Okay, and I hope you're noticing that I'm going from smallest to largest, always from smallest to largest. So that's the smallest dimension, that's the second one. I'm not going to dimension that one because in fact that's a feature which I want that dimension there to be separate, and it relates to tolerances. So I'm going to select this, and there we go, there's our third one. Right, and I want the position of the start of this angle, right? Okay, and I want the position for the start of that angle there, 80. Okay, and then the overall dimension, once again, I'm not going to put it on this side because I want this side open for my detailed dimensions. I'm going to put the overall dimension on another side of this drawing, so that now logically I can see here are the overall dimensions, 120 by 90, and I've arranged everything else on the other side. Try and make your drawings as clear and as ordered and as logical as possible, because the people who have to read them need clarity. Right, so now the next step is I need to dimension this angle, which I can do by hitting there and doing my crosshairs trick, which is not working. Nope. Okay, so I've escaped. I'm going to do that again. Click. Nope, does not want to do it. Why not? Let's try this from the point to there. Nope. Okay, let's forget that for now. Let's do this one, which is much easier. I can go from that line to that line, and I want to pull this. I don't want the angle to be not have an extension line, so I want to pull it out quite far. And I'm going to try this one again, from here to that point. Could not create a reference dimension from the current set. Okay, I think this might have to do with the kind of model it is. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to insert a point, and let's try and see if this works. From here to that point. Nope. Okay, then it is legitimate to do something like this, even though that's ugly, and whoever created dimension 223.69, daft dimension. And then I need to dimension the size of these. Now I'm not going to dimension this inner circle, because that inner circle, in fact, let's just pull out a view. That inner circle represents the top of this radius. In other words, that inner circle is just indicating a tangent line. I want to know what the outer size of this pin is. And radius, this is not right. I want that to be a diameter, so I'm just going to go to my leaders and say that, first of all, I want an open leader and I want a diameter. There we go, and we don't want... There we go. Okay. Right, and if I click on this again, you'll see a little dialog box opens where you can put text in. So I don't need to dimension both of these. I just need to say times, wait, make sure caps lock is on. You want everything to be in caps, times 2. That's it. You can see that there are two of these, diameter 9.5 times 2 there, they both are. Okay, let's move across for now. Oh wait, yes, we need to quickly introduce this one here. So from here to here is 7. Okay, and while we're at it, this whole lot can be cleaned up. I can click drag, and if they're all highlighted, I right click and go to where is it? Annotations, no, more dimensions. Let me try that again. Display options, more dimensions, no, smart dimension, no, align, sorry. Go to align, and then I want to just space them evenly, or I can say auto arrange. If I do auto arrange, it's not going to do a nice job, I know that, but I'm going to do it. Okay, that's not too bad, but in fact I want these to be pulled in just so that they're kind of evenly spaced. Yeah, actually that's not bad, I'm happy with that. This one can come in a little bit, and that one can just move out of the way of some of these arrows, and this one should come out a little bit. Okay, so sweet, I think we're done. We can just have a look at what happens when we do the same thing here, align, and it just spaces them evenly. So it takes whatever their spacing was and it just spaces them evenly. Let's dimension this little section view, because there's a lot of information in here that we need. So one, we need to know what the height of this piece is, so from the base. Always remember, position dimensions start from your datums. So always start from your datum to here, 17. This dimension, for instance, would not be right, 10, because that line there is not a datum. Here's the datum. So if you did this one here, you get marked down. Okay, so remember, datums, essential. Now I want the overall height. I can just put this in here because I don't need to worry too much about space concerns. Okay, and now if I have a look at my top view, that spacing there on 3 sides is equal, and what I need to know is what is the dimension between there and the middle, or the intersection of that plane, this plane here, and that plane, right? Which is what we get here. Here's the plane, and here's the plane, and that's the intersection. So I need to go from this point to here. 4, and so that sounds like I'm contradicting the whole datum thing, but this is actually a feature, and I can, if I want to, I can dimension from there to there. But in fact, what's important here is the distance of 4 millimeters, and I also want to tell whoever's going to do this that this happens on 3 sides. So 3 sides, I just type in, done. Okay, so whoever looks at this can see, aha, that dimension there, 1, 2, 3 sides. Now I want this angle. I'm not going to put the angle in here because I can do something much cleaner on this side. Let's see if this will work. Ah, it is working. All right, so there's the angle trick done. 25, and I'm going to put a note in here to either say 4 sides or all around. So I'm going to say all around. All around is probably more accurate, right? So that's all you need. And then the last thing I need is I need a dimension between that point and this point, which is 27. Pull that in a bit, and I'm just going to see if I can't pull that down. There we go, right. And then lastly, we just need to dimension the fillets. Okay, so fillets generally leave to last. I'm going to dimension this one. Generally, I try not to allow my dimensions go across hatch lines, but in this case, it's actually going to be less clear there than it is up here, or out of the way. So that's okay, because if I brought it the other way, it's going to interfere with this intersection point. Let's pull that one across, get that out of the way. The lines are nicely lined up. Pull that in a little bit, and pull that in a little bit. Okay, and I think we're done. Oh yes, okay, so we need to just put a note along here to say along edge, because that is along this entire edge. Okay, so that's all you need. We've got that. We just need to put in one more radius here, which is this one here or there, doesn't matter. Let's put it in. This would be less cluttered. Come, baby. There we go, 6.5. Okay, now one of my settings has gone out, so I'm just going to click on that setting and say I want it to be pointing to the thing, not have a leader line. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I could put in radius 6.5 times 7, but a more typical way of doing this is going to be just to type in TYP, which stands for typical, because it's typical. You'll find that same dimension on all the corners. Okay. And then lastly, I just need to dimension the height of this in this front view. I need to dimension 2 heights, so I'm going to go from there to there. That's 7, and from there to the top of this pin, which is 25. And I don't need a height dimension because I've got it here already. There we go. There's 27. But I do need a fillet dimension, which is radius 1.5. Now, sometimes this might give you a problem and not want to go in here if this view is in the way. Just place it outside and then drag it back down. So I'm going to drag it back down. If you want to, you can make that clearer by saying times 2, but not really crucial. Okay, once again, this program is playing with my settings. Come, right. And that's it. I think you're done. I don't see anything that's missing. All of your position dimensions are in place. All of your size dimensions are in place. The angle dimensions are size dimensions. This shape follows that outside shape, and so that 50 degrees will also be repeated here. That angle is repeated on all 4 sides. That radius goes on around all of those. We've got the heights in, and we're done. Okay, so see, you're going to strive as much as possible for me and for any boss that you're going to work for to put the fewest dimensions in, but create the fullest possible description. So give this a bash, and we'll see how you do next week. Cheers.